Thank you for joining us on the Downing Cut. Today we have a special guest who's been on the podcast before, and he's back to talk about his latest film project, Asleep at the Wheel. Please welcome writer and director Kit Wilson.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing, Kit?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, so let's get into this. Your previous short film, Missing Hearts, is still making its way through the festival circuit. What inspired you to begin developing a new short film at this stage?
Once I launched it onto the festival circuit and it looked like it was going to be there up until Christmas, I kind of stepped back and took a deep breath. And then it's funny, I was watching a bunch of Netflix documentaries, and one of them was about the Eagles, one of my favorite bands. And I was fortunate enough to see them at the Hollywood Bowl back in LA. But Hotel California was always an interesting song. And so I just got the wheels turning, and I thought, well, what if there really was a Hotel California? What if somebody actually went there? What would their experience be? So it kind of spun out from that, really.
So you actually didn't have this script already written out. It just motivated you to write.
Yeah. And I had to go through a lot of different machinations to first find out who was going to be the lead in the story. Why would they want to go looking for this hotel? So there's a lot of questions to answer, but it worked out great.
So, I mean, without giving anything away, what would you say is the log line of Asleep at the Wheel?
So glad you asked. Excuse me. A rebellious college girl leaves her education behind, journeying to a mysterious Hotel California, where she confronts an evil childhood trauma that threatens her sanity and ultimately her life.
Wow.
So I thought, all my lead roles are females. So I thought, if this girl was a college age 21-year-old and she was just not fitting into the college scene, was always kind of a loner, and she was coming up on spring break, and she decided just to drive off into the desert, what would she encounter?
So let's go back. You said you always have leads that are females. I know another director that does the same thing. Why do you always choose to have female leads?
Well, it goes way, way back to when I first started writing books, actually, before I even started screenwriting. I just found that the main characters that engaged audiences, whether they're readers or filmgoers, was a multi-layered character. Somebody that had a lot of things going on underneath the skin, outside the skin. And I found that females inherently have about, multi-layers of feelings and emotions and perspectives, and men just have basically two. The outside appearance, where they wear the mask and that's what you see, but then the inside person that tries to keep it hidden but has a lot going on, but nowhere near the layers a woman has. Stay married for 44 years and you'll find out.
They've written books about them, and I've read them. I think there's one where, I mean, not to stereotype, but it's a book. It's scientific. It's what, spaghetti versus waffles.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
So, yeah, I can relate.
Yeah.
So at this stage for this film, what is the core theme or message you want the film to communicate? And how are you shaping this pre-production decisions around that?
Well, fortunately, I spent about a year in Riverside, California, way back in the 80s. And I fell in love with a hotel in the middle of town called the Riverside Mission Inn. And it's really in a unique building. It's almost like a castle. It's got all kinds of architecture from Italian to Spanish to medieval. And I always thought, that'd make a great site for a movie. I don't care if you use the whole building, just different areas of this hotel would make great background. So anyway, that was in the back of my mind. And when I thought of this story, I thought, if this young gal goes to the Hotel California and she's not quite sure why she's there, there's going to be a hostess, lady in her early 40s that is kind of the hostess to lead her into the hotel and basically say, this is for you to get as much out of it as you want. There's people here that haven't got out yet because they're still working on their issues. But if you want to get out, you're going to have to look back at your past and you're going to have to heal from what you went through.
Are you planning on going to that hotel
Yes.
then? Are you gonna
Yeah, we've actually got some guys that went down there a month ago and did some location shooting and talked with them. And fortunately, I found out that the city of Riverside owns the hotel, or at least is responsible for the stewardship of the hotel. So they regulate the film permits. But you just can't walk in there with a camera. They get requests all the time for weddings, you name it, and they have to turn people away. So we're kind of going to tiptoe in there and show the permit. And I'm looking to shoot a bunch of B-roll and have that in the can. And then I also want to get some introductory scenes with my two main characters, the college gal and then the hostess of the hotel. And then pack up our show and come back to Seattle and do all the interiors at Harbor Island Studios. So I really got it figured out that, if I capture the footage I want in a day to 2 days in Riverside, I'll be able to come back and finish what I need in the studio. And
I think when I was 1 or 2, I lived in Riverside. I think I was born in San
yeah,
Bernardino.
that's San Bernardino River. That's
Yeah.
the county for sure. Yeah.
So, pre-production often involves balancing many moving parts, which you just kind of explained. Which element, like casting, location you already talked about, design, technical setup, what do you consider most crucial for bringing Asleep at the Wheel to life?
Casting. Yeah. If you ever hear Ben Affleck talk about it, he says, if you got the cast locked in, you've got half the movie made. So it really is, critical. And fortunately, I've done so much of my own casting over the years that, I know where to start the search, whether it's Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, it's agencies or just word of mouth. I start looking for people that are fit into the skin of my characters. And once I get a physical appearance that I think might fit, then I have them do a self-tape and go from there. Listen to their voice, watch their facial, movements, their eyes, and get a little bit better acquainted of if they're going to be able to fill the part or not. So that's what I've been doing, ever since Missing Hearts went on the circuit. So that was critical. And then going back and looking at the script, we had 3 table reads, one in LA, one in Seattle, and one in Portland. And from those table reads, I was able to get feedback from the talent that was reading it, what was working, what wasn't working, and what was working, and found out that 98% of it was working. So I just, on my own, went back and started tweaking a couple of different things that visually is going to make more sense once it actually gets to the can.
So you've already started the casting process?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much
Okay.
buttoned up, except for like 2 roles that I'll probably cast for Seattle talent, because I think that it'll be easier to get them involved, and I don't have to deal with SAG-AFTRA so much as local talent. So yeah.
Now, how are you working with your creative team during the pre-production to ensure the film's tone and pacing and style that align with your vision? Like, do you already have a set team that you always go to?
Well, I do. Majority of the folks who worked on Missing Hearts will be present, and with a few minor roles, not the same. But I think my DP Eric Viss in Seattle has done 3 of my films now, and I think we're kind of on the same page in terms of what I like to accomplish with my camera work and lighting. And once I start showing him different films that are screen grabs, whatever it might be, that are going to be applicable to how we're going to tell the story visually, then I think that that makes it a lot smoother as well.
Are you going to utilize green screen again?
Yeah, for sure. There's some kind of Twilight Zone, David Lynch imagery that can only be done with green screen and post production. So, but since we did it, for Missing Hearts in that facility at Harbor Islands, I think that it'll go a little smoother. We're still going to have challenges because we're going to be experimenting to see what we can actually capture. But yeah.
What number of short film is this for you?
13.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, short films. So this will be an easy question then. Short films often face tight budgets and timelines. How are you approaching this pre-production planning to turn those constraints into creative opportunities? You must have a rhythm and a flow.
Well, I pretty much know what the cost of each one up to this point has cost. And so I just did some calculating in terms of, increased costs for, day rates, equipment, so forth and so on, and went back over it. And I've actually got a individual in Olympia that is an enthusiast film. I wouldn't call him a producer, but he's definitely interested in filmmaking. And he's an older guy, and he's been kind of saying, well, if you're going to go out and look for money, then you've got to have these questions answered. So I really got a good breakdown of the budget and put it in a pitch deck. So my pitch deck
Nice.
is like 9 slides, but one of the slides is nothing but the dollar figures, and it breaks it all the way down to craft services, PAs, you name it, uh, transportation, hotels. It's all there. So anybody that's interested in participating in sponsoring it or investing in it, they know exactly the bottom line dollars that it's going to cost to make it.
For those who have will hear this and listen to it, what's the best way to reach you if they want to take a look at the
I'm
pitch
on
deck?
all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, uh, Stage 32. Yeah, yeah. And my email is, I think, just about prominent on all of those. So yeah, email or DM is the best way to get hold of me.
So looking ahead, Kit, what do you hope audiences or festival judges will recognize in this short film that begins with choices that you're making right now in pre-production? Like, how does that connect the dots all the way through?
Well, this is one of the first films where I specifically have a theme in mind, and it's a social cultural theme of childhood trauma and healing and female empowerment at the end of that experience. So I'm looking forward to working with organizations that support and assist victims of childhood trauma, and eventually, as it gets at the end of the festival run in a year, I'm more than happy to let those organizations latch onto it and use it as a PSA, whatever they want to do to engage potential volunteers, investors, whatever it might be. So people that are interested in nonprofit organizations that may be helping victims like that, I hear spiels all the time. But if they're watching a film, it's a narrative film, it's got a story, it's got characters in it, they'll be more engaged. Be more willing to listen to the story as opposed to just being preached, for a regular pitch.
Do you have a deadline that you set for yourself to be complete and out in festivals?
Usually the shooting time is going to take 5 shooting days, 6 shooting days, and then another month in post production. But I'm not in a big rush because I realize that even if I'm pushed into like the Christmas season, I can still go down to Riverside and shoot. The sun will be shining, the birds will be singing, no problem. And
Yeah.
if I go out to Ellensburg or any place that I'm looking for, a Palm Spring kind of highway desert, I can do that in Ellensburg. January, February, whatever. So it's really capturing everything in the studio in Harbor Islands, and that may be end of the year, first part of the year. So I'm just kind of waiting for all these pieces to fall together. But so far, so good, and I really appreciate all the talented, passionate people that are willing to jump on and see this make it happen. So
All right, we'll wrap this up. Is there anything else that you want to mention or
um,
bring up?
let's see. Well, actually, Missing Hearts is it's already been awarded in 12 festivals. It's going to be screening in another 20 between now and Christmas. So hopefully,
Wow.
if it's going to be in a local area that people can go and watch it, by all means, go in and watch it.
From a film producer, film creator, filmmaker perspective, when you're making these short films, and this is my last question, I know I just interjected. What is your goal in all of this?
Well, I initially started writing short films because I wasn't getting traction with feature screenplays in LA. And even though I've gone through 2 agents in the last 10 years and didn't find any kind of productive work out of them, I just kept making shorts, thinking that somewhere at a festival, somewhere a networking opportunity, we're going to cross paths with somebody that says, hey, I like what you're doing. You got any features that I can read or look over? And that's kind of when the purpose all along is that I got 15 feature screenplays sitting at my desk ready to be greenlit. Meanwhile, I'm doing
Wow.
shorts to let everybody know that I'm still a filmmaker and I still have a vision. So yeah,
Do any of your shorts could they be turned into a
I'd
feature?
say the majority of them, yes, they want to be grown up and be a real feature. So it's just a matter of being at the right place at the right time, and of course having the budgets. But you know, working with 12 different casts, 12 different studio or locations and so forth, it's really given me a lot of experience under my belt that I may not have gotten
Yeah.
just with one feature right off the bat. So really, I appreciate everybody helping me make these come to fruition.
I gotta say it's amazing because we had just talked about Missing Hearts and you were going into production with that film and this quick turnaround. Like most filmmakers, we take a year, 2 years off. But even if it is a short, we still like That's what we do. We just gotta take a deep
Well,
breath.
it's interesting oversight that in Los Angeles, it's an entertainment city. I mean, you go to restaurants, you go to your dry cleaners, you're going to cross paths with somebody in the business. It's just in the air. But up here, there is no viable filmmaking industry. So consequently, you've got to rub shoulders and get collaborative help from creators that are anxious to be on a film set, who really want to see films on a screen. And so I appreciate that kind of passion.
Absolutely. So if someone wants to participate with you in the film, just reach out social media. That's the best
Yeah,
way.
absolutely. And I don't dismiss any kind of approaches from anybody, whether they're looking for work as a crew or talent, whatever. I'm more than happy to talk with them and explain what's going on. Really.
All right, Kit. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
on.
Joe. I appreciate it. Always good talking with you.
Have a
You
good one.
too.